they are, of course, engaged in it, right? They're not just being
no, they're being grabbed in many cases and literally thrown.
45-year-old men.
Yeah. Well, literally thrown. Yes. Ukrainian morale, or at least
Dave Smith shuts down Vaush's delusional take on ending the war in Ukraine while debating on breaking points because, quite frankly, it's a non-solution, which explains why woke soy boys like Vaush should not be in charge at all, as Dave Smith easily dismantles Vaush's ridiculous idea. Folks, this is why woke people can't accomplish anything, because they just hope for the best and wing it, apparently. So let's jump into the video and react.
Is this Hail Mary that you're talking about that could change the calculation on the ground to such an extent that it's worth it to continue throwing Ukrainian men and women into the maw of this war?
Well, I don't like the term throwing, only because they are, of course, engaged in it, right? They're not just being
no, they're being grabbed in many cases and literally thrown.
45-year-old men.
Yeah. Well, literally thrown. Yes. Ukrainian morale, or at least interest in continuing the war, is still high, but that sort of nitpick aside, I would only say, look, the Hail Mary is something that I hope for. It's not something that I think is guaranteed. With the introduction of ATACMS and other relatively long-ranged, munitions, we have the ability to sort of provide Ukraine the option to strike at depots, refineries, and facilities that are closer to the sort of back lines of the conflict. And that has had a massive effect in the past 4 or 5 months since that was introduced. I don't know whether that's going to be a game changer in the war in the long run. I hope that it is, because ultimately I do think that a conciliatory position from Russia would be a better way of ending this conflict than one in which things just freeze as they are now. The DMZ buildup along the line that people settled on right now would be catastrophic, and I think it would just guarantee further war. My hope, and this is, I know, perhaps a little naive of me, but I still have a little bit in me that hopes for this. My hope is that eventually, following the expansion of Ukraine's ability to strike at further back targets, this becomes increasingly economically untenable for Russia. There's pressure from both sides. Hey, this has gone on long enough. We literally can't keep this going anymore. We're both on fumes. And like two exhausted boxers on the 14th round, they both collapse into each other's arms. And, they have a Christmas Day in World War I. There's a moment where for a second things get rough enough, long enough that they collapse and they just can't do it anymore. And maybe the world breathes a sigh of peace as they finally do settle on whatever line they're at that point.
So, folks, Vaush's idea is just wing it. We'll just keep going until hopefully both sides just give up at the same time. This is a childish idea. And like they started off with, they're grabbing people. They're literally grabbing people and forcefully taking them. People who are handicapped, 50-year-olds, just bodies, anybody. It's horrible. The last time I think I checked the average age of the Ukrainian soldier, it's 45 or 46, 44 to 46, somewhere in there. Because they wiped out everyone else. They don't have anyone else. This war is absolutely awful, and it wouldn't even continue to be going if literally the entire Western world didn't back this absolutely corrupt country to no end. And now millions are displaced, millions have died, billions and trillions have been lost in money and assets, while billions have been laundered and stolen. And what is this going to get in the end? And Vaush's idea is, we'll just keep fighting it and hopefully both sides give up. At that point, what will be left? What will be left at that point when you're battered, bruised, destroyed, crippled? Oh, thank God. That's what he's hoping for. This is why, like I said, woke people can't accomplish anything. Your best case scenario is a destroyed condition, but you don't have a possible solution for anything better. Folks, if you haven't known and you haven't seen, I will say this. Twice before there's been a chance for peace, and twice that's been shot down by the West. One of them was by Boris Johnson, and that's when they held less territory. Just think about that, folks, and then think about what Vaush is saying. These people are crazy and will fight us into oblivion. Leave a like if you're enjoying. Let's get back in.
I think
It's quite a dangerous game to play, man. I mean, I know it was the
it's all
neocons.
dangerous, right?
Well, sure, but I'm just saying, it was the neocons' hope that if you overthrew Saddam Hussein, democracy would sweep the region, and that would have been nice, I guess. But the hope that if they strike inside of Russia, that will make Russia realize that this war just has cost us a little bit too much, and we sure should knock off this war business. It's quite a risky game to play. There's a couple of things that I want to. Well, let me just respond to a couple things you said there, because things that I think are pretty interesting. So, number one, just a couple points of correction. I mean, I know I said it was a good point in jest, but no, it's not true that every dollar that goes to Ukraine is a dollar that doesn't go to Israel. I mean, as you know, we print money out of thin air, and the U.S. government is quite fine to spend well beyond its means. So no, they can deficit finance through fiat currency both of these wars at the same time. Now, what that's going to do to our dollar?
Equipment too, not just money.
Sure. Yeah, no, mostly we're just bribing the military-industrial complex and sending old weapons over there. However, there is, as you brought up the talk of agency before, it is true that individuals have agency. It's also true that there's such a thing as moral hazard. So if I were to just say, I'll start giving, hey, Ryan, I'm going to start giving you $1 million a month. And then you quit your job and you sit at home, and I go, look, he doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to work. He wants to stay home. He doesn't want to do it. It's like, well, yeah, okay, there is some truth to that, but might that have, the Ukrainians just want to fight. Okay, but might that have something to do with the blank check that they've received from the world? So the whole point here, right, is that, and this is true with Israel and with Ukraine, what happens is that when the biggest bully in the history of the world, the U.S. empire, says, we got your back, people get a lot braver than they otherwise would. If Israel didn't have unconditional support from the United States of America, they'd be forced to make a deal with some of their neighbors. And same with Ukraine. You say like, if the war ended, Ukraine would just be ready to fight Russia again in a few years without our backing, without us arming them, without all of Europe behind them. No, they wouldn't, because they know it's a fight they couldn't possibly win.
Yeah, folks, Vaush lives in the woke bubble where he also doesn't get all the facts, and Dave Smith at least is at least more informed and has a better thinking about this. It's like, yeah, we can absolutely just debt whatever, like forever finance this thing into oblivion. Like we really could, if the crazy people running the show really decide to do it. I mean, and never mind what happens to you and me, but will they get their war? Yeah. They might actually just get the endless battle that they want. And this is what they'll do, folks. They don't care. They don't provide actual solutions to anything to get out of this. And not only that, our tax dollars aren't just paying, like Vaush was talking about, for military equipment. No, we are literally paying government employees. We are paying their benefits, their health care. We are keeping their government running on the US dollar. That is what we are doing. And we are just financing this to absolute oblivion. Like I said, we wiped out a generation of people. The original army that they had, it took 7 years to build that. It's gone. 7 years. That was also funded and taught and trained by NATO and the West all at the same time. It's gone. And now, like they said, we're just feeding people into the mall. And they're just going to keep doing it forever. Folks, oh, God. Dealing with people like Vaush, who just provide actually nothing, yeah, it's sad. Russia's going to keep fighting this forever. We've had opportunities to make peace, and I think even I saw the other day, literally Putin has said he wants to make peace with Donald Trump. God, I can't remember where I saw that, but I'll have to look that up. But folks, type that in, see if you can find that. If that's true, Putin will make peace with Donald Trump. Literally, Donald Trump can end this war. And like they point out, the neocons who just want war and the military-industrial complex, this is what we're fighting against, folks. This is the deep state. And it's just horrible for everyone. But folks, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about what Dave Smith had to say in reply to Vaush's idea about the war in Ukraine. Sounds a little foolish. But anyway, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.